Hello Milky friends, it is Milk still here with you for another Idle Heroes video. It is day 2 of the new Celestial Island event. I thought I would make a follow-up video. Obviously the first video I made was quite rushed. It only gave my initial thoughts. Now that I've digested what's happened as well as read some of your comments, and some of you are obviously right, I'm usually pretty brash when I make these videos and I don't fully think it through. Let me share with you my updated thoughts on Celestial Island. We'll do some additional gameplay, and I'll share with you my new analysis on what I think the next steps are after you complete this current journey, what you should upgrade, and what type of adventures you should go on. So the first thing that got pointed out to me that is the fact that you probably shouldn't upgrade the gold mines, simply because apparently the payback to go from level 40 to level 60 is 1 year. I mean, that's a good point to make. If it's going to take that long, you've got to ask yourself, well, what else can I do with that gold, and whether or not gold is really worth that much. So in that respect, you could argue, well, if it takes a year to pay off to get back the gold that I dumped to go from level 40 to level 60, ignore this part of the video if you're new to the game and you're trying to work out whether or not you should go to level 40. But to go from level to 60 requires a lot of gold. And so then you have to ask yourself, well, is that money better invested in, for example, the gem mine, and to go from 40 to 60 here and get more gems? So I've done the math. For me personally, I think it's actually better to go from 40 to 60 on gems and buy the gold from Hand of Midas here, which I do every day or every time I need gold, rather than building up the gold mines. Having said that, if you're sitting on like 1 billion gold and you're not building any new heroes, which actually a couple of you are, well, if you're in my guild, it's basically everyone except me who's managed to upgrade the gold and the gem mines without actually, batting an eyelid because you have so much gold, then go ahead and do it. So yesterday I said build gold first because you need gold to upgrade these mines. But if it takes you a year to pay it back, maybe that's not worth it. Maybe considering doing gems. I'm in two minds about it now, whether or not I should upgrade the gold or upgrade the gems. I've mathed it out, and I think it makes it more sense to upgrade the gems first, because I can buy the incremental gems I get from going from level 40 to level 60 from the Hand of Midas, because I'm VIP 11, I get such a great deal, than it is to upgrade the gold mines first. So that's one side of the new Celestial Island thinking that I've updated, right? So it's a toss-up between gold and gems in terms of which one of these mines to upgrade. I still think Furnace is a waste of, I guess, good Voidstone and gold, simply because pink stuff you don't really need anymore. I mean, the monster stuff, maybe it's worth it. Let's build it and see what happens. I'm going to build it just to talk about it. So if you look at what you can get out of it, the purple goo is valuable. Not going to take that away. The pink stuff, like I said, is less valuable, especially since they're going to introduce that second gem slot. The monster bits are always valuable, especially if you have anything less than, I guess, 2 monsters. I'm nearly done with my 3rd monster, so it's not really that valuable for me anymore. Because what are you going to do with a 4th and 5th monster except for interdimensional arena? And then the traction isn't there for me to build a 4th or 5th monster just to conquer interdimensional arena, because I don't think the payoff is worth it. So that knocks out a couple of other items. And in terms of bag space, ever since they've changed the fusion system, the need for bag space after a certain point, and I don't know what the right number is because I'm not in your situation, the need for this also is in there. So all of a sudden, the only thing I need from Furnace is this first thing. And yeah, after I've done my upgrades, we'll see how many of my Void Stones are left, because that's where I'll be basically dumping all my Void Stones into once I have too much left. So that's the Furnace side of things. I still think it should be the last thing updated. If it's the first thing you do, that's perfectly fine as well. But I just think gems and gold in the long run are more valuable than, say, these other bits that you would sacrifice Void Stones into. But that's just me. The other thing that I got wrong was... that I got wrong or need to update my thinking is the fact that I said this is like Try the Champions. It really isn't. So when you set your team of 3 into whichever slot, you basically need to pick one slot and put your best team into that slot, because you're always going to attack with that one team. The only thing that I guess changes, because I got attacked overnight and you can't tell, but you can get attacked in this game, obviously, because when you do this mission, another fleet, and you successfully beat them, if you get successfully beaten, it actually takes durability away from you, which is this thing here. So I lost 20 durability because I got attacked overnight, and I had to spend 50 gems to get it back to 100, because durability impacts your fleet speed, and also impacts how much cargo, the material that you get at the end, which is a big no-no. And I want to go as quick as possible, and so you see after 12 days, I'm nearly 20% of the way there. So the updated thinking is, I think it's still Trial of the Champions lineup, in that if you get defeated, you take a hit on durability. And if you take a hit on durability, you have to spend gems to stay up there, right? Where it's different from Trial of the Champions is when you attack, you only have to win one battle. So a lot of people have commented, well, Melkstool, you only have to pick one slot and put your best team in that. And just think about that, because it's yes, you can set 3 teams up, but really you only attack with one of those teams. And so therefore, if you only attack with one team, you should put your best team into one slot. Yes, that's true. But if you have enough of a powerful lineup to fill powerful teams in all 3 slots, then you save gems when you get attacked when you're not online, to save you from having to fix up your durability. That's my only other thinking that I've updated. The other thing to note is that with these anchors, with the stamina, which you get 10 of every 24 hours, it doesn't go beyond 10. So after you've done 10, it doesn't go beyond that, right? So that's my updated thinking. Now, I can't be bothered waiting another, 1 hour and 14 minutes to get the other stamina. I'm just going to do the 9 today and review how we go. And then after that, I'm going to talk about the 2 key decisions that you're going to make in this game after you've set your lineup. The first one is, after this journey is over, is, well, if there are other journeys that open up, which kind of other journeys should I do? And from my understanding, there are 4 kinds of journeys that you can do, and it's tied to the kind of regular reward, which is, where are we going? Which is this, right? So the regular rewards here change depending on the kind of journey that you do, and effectively it's centered around 4 different kinds of rewards. The first kind of journey gives you, in terms of regular rewards, a non-light dark 6-star, which is the one that we're all on now. And on top of that, you get 2,000 of those metals that you need to build the special pot plants that give you the upgrades. So these things, the tokens, let you build, if we get there, so it lets you build these things. So you need these tokens to build these statues. But then the other thing it gives you is obviously experience points, which, so it says here, if you look at the guide, 5,000 experience points. And I don't think it's the experience points associated, I could be wrong. I don't necessarily think it's the experience points associated with this. I think it's the experience points that you need. Once my game loads again, I apologize. I think it's the experience points associated with basically this level here, right? To upgrade your ship. And so that's the first choice you're going to make, I think. It's which of these journeys can you do? And like I said, there's 4 types of journeys tied to the rewards that you get. So there's a journey we can get at the end where you can get a non-light dark 6-star puppet, a light dark 6-star puppet, and then again, but in terms of, rather than 6 stars, you get 9 stars. So 4 different kinds of journeys, 4 different reward outcomes, and therefore the smart ones, you're probably like, well, then surely it's about how many rewards you get per day of journey, right? And that's what I've done here. So I'm going to go through that. The other decision that you're going to make is, once you get those valuable experience points, is which one of these things do you upgrade first? The fleet armor, the engine, the cargo hold, or the arsenal, right? And I think it's pretty clear which one you should upgrade. Well, I always toss up between engine and cargo hold, and I'll take you through why I picked engine over cargo hold, over arsenal, and over fleet armor. But before we get into that analysis is quite in depth. Let's do some exploration. So the aim of this, quite frankly, every single day is to progress as much as you can. And it's all randomized, right? But there is one thing you can control. And that is the fact that you should use all your explorations at once. And so I read this on Reddit. Basically, the guy suggested the merchant, while nice and you can get goodies, the goodies aren't actually any better value than, say, Aspen Dungeon or the Marketplace. And it does also didn't give you any progress. So theoretically, if you sort of use one exploration every 2 hours, you could theoretically get up to 10 merchants every single day. And that's what you don't want. A merchant doesn't give you any progress. It gives you good goods to buy, which is kind of nice. But at the end of the day, you want to reduce this progress, or reduce the time it takes you to get to the end as quickly as possible. Because the key metric in Celestial Island Adventure Mode is items per day. So you either want to get more items each and every day, or you want to reduce the denominator, the number of days that you need to travel, to make that output greater, that key metric greater. It's outputs per day. That's the key metric for Adventure Island that you're trying to maximize. You either reduce the denominator, so you quicken the pace of the adventure through this progress, or you try and find a way to get more goodies by increasing your cargo hold at the end, right? And that's an upgrade that you can do here. But I'll talk about that after. But let's do some exploration. So if we do some exploration, yes, this is what we want. So we want to plunder. This is very good. Plunder, in my opinion, is the best kind of mission you can get. So we're fighting What About his server 20. I'm going to fight his power system. So hopefully we win, because that's my best lineup. Ooh, that's a pretty good lineup, but I think we can beat it because he put a Heart Watcher in there. Yep. So plunder is the best kind of mission you can get, because you get 50 gems and you get progress as well. So you get rewards and progress. The risks are quite high, but I think it's the most worth it. So if you go here, these are the kinds of missions you can get. Plunder another fleet is probably the best you can get, followed by Stranded Fleet, which lets you basically progress, followed by Shipwrecks, and then Merchants are okay, like I said, I talked about it earlier on. And the worst one is obviously when you get absolutely nothing for exploration, which I'm sure I'll get. So there we go, we got another fleet. So we plunder, server 46. He's not going to have a powerful enough team, so we'll battle the power system again. Ooh, that's a pretty good one, but I think we've got enough. Yep. So there we go, we got a chest. What chest do we get? And this is what we're after. So I've seen guys in my guard, with a cargo hold that's just filled to the brim with these chests. Those lucky bastards. Shipwreck. You sent an expert to the shipwreck and covered some remaining resources. So we got a chest, some shards. So that goes in our cargo hold, which we get at the end, which is nice. But we made no progress, which is not that great. I mean, those 10-star shards are nice, but I'd much rather... Oh, we got another one. Another box. More shards. I don't really want shards. I just want to progress and finish this as quickly as I can. So there we go. This is the worst kind of outcome that you can get. It says, hasn't found any events, but we've brought back some token rewards, which, yeah, they got more token rewards. This is exactly what we don't want. But this is all randomized, right? So I can't control it. So Shipwreck... We're getting more shit that we don't need. So a lot of people complained on Reddit yesterday. They said, look, you guys are so lucky. You haven't made any progress. I'm only at like 2.57% progress. There you go, right? My luck's turned. Yesterday, I got to about 12% progress just from the events. Now, I've barely gotten anything. So let's look at what we can buy. I don't want that. It's the same stuff as yesterday, I think. So I don't want any of this. Yeah, I'll take the scrolls. Take the scrolls. Don't really need the purple goo, but... Alright, let's just skip it. So last explore. There we go. So, not so good today. Today, I only got like, what? 4%? 6% worth of progress made. Yeah, not the best. So, I think... if you've played this for a day and you're like, oh, everyone's so lucky, they've made so much progress with their little events. It's all random, guys. You can't control it. The only thing you can control is when you meet, for example, another ship and the guys on an earlier server, you've got to ask yourself, especially if it's one of those named individuals that you know to be like a top player on interdimensional arena, right? So for example, if you come up against, I don't know, who's a good one? So like a guy with a lot of power, right? So maybe that's the thing, like a Getsuru, right? So if you come up against this guy, when you get one of those attack missions in, maybe that's the thing you should do, right? If you come up with a named individual from IDA, on adventure, and you're asking yourself, should I attack them? The answer for this Getsuru guy is absolutely no, right? He's probably going to field one of these lineups in one of his 3 systems, which is an absolute dick thing to do, right? So Getsuru, if you ever watch my videos, be generous, and for your auxiliary system, at least field your weakest power lineup. You can avoid, everyone else can afford to lose, right? So that's my plea to this guy. If you ever get this guy, he's not going to do it. He's absolutely not going to do it. But if you ever come up against this guy, you never attack him, right? Similarly, if you ever come up attack against, I don't know, who else has got 1 million power, like Barry Gaming, right? So Barry, if you ever watch my videos, he's probably going to field, I don't know, like this top 3 team, right? You can never beat that. So it's a question of, well, if you come up with someone from an earlier server, I guess the advice is go to Interdimensional Arena and see if they're in the top 640 or even in the top 100, because you're trying to work out whether or not your lineup, what the best lineup is. Because chances are you're not going to be able to beat it. And should you skip it or should you attack them? I'm inclined to say skip it, especially if you're a very new player and you're on a much later server, because this game, unfortunately, this mission especially, this another fleet mission event, again, unfortunately, favors the older players, the players that have played this a very long time, just like Interdimensional Arena, right? They've played longer, so they've been able to acquire more resources, more copies, more food to build more E5 heroes, and you're just going to have to suck shit and eat it, because that's the reality of this game. They're never going to create another game where it's kind of like Crystal Crown League, where it actually doesn't matter how long you've played, because everyone only has to build one complete E5 team. Here, unfortunately, because you have to field 3 teams, you have more chances of being attacked and losing, and you have more chances of losing against older players. Anyway, that's some of the gameplay for day 2. Now let's talk about what happens in terms of next steps after you finish this journey. So after another, I don't know, 5-6 days, it's not going to be 11 days, you're going to hopefully get enough exploration things that speed up your progress. You're going to be confronted with 2 choices. One is, which tech do you upgrade, right? So there are 4 kinds of techs you can upgrade. I've already talked about the journeys. I'll talk about the journeys after, but which tech should you upgrade first? So the first tech is Fleet Armor. It increases your durability, right? From 100 to 120. And so here, the benefit from going from 100 to 120 is, well, basically another 20 durability, guys, right? Because if you fall below 100 durability, it impacts your speed, and it impacts your the amount of cargo you get at the end. And I think it only impacts the amount of material you get, not the items you get here. And I'll talk about why that is the case after this. So I think it only impacts the material line. It doesn't impact, actually, maybe it says here. When the fleet's durability is below 90, for every 10 durability your fleet loses, your final rewards are reduced by 5%. So here's the thing. Your final rewards. How do you take away 5% of 5 scrolls, or 5% of 1 scroll for that matter, right? It just doesn't seem right. That's why I think they talk about this material that take away 5% from, as opposed to the cargo hold. But I'm sure one of you can ask the devs. But having said that, I don't get attacked that often. I haven't been attacked often enough to need to, where I'm spending 100 gems a day just fixing up my durability. I've been attacked once overnight. Cost me 50 gems to get from 80 back to 100 again in terms of durability. So this saves you gems. How many gems it save you in the long run? Hard to say. So that's why this isn't a top upgrade for me. The fact that if I got attacked every single day and I went to 0 like just overnight, this might be worth it. But right now, not worth it, because if you get attacked overnight and you get to 0, if you get to 0, it's going to cost you 250 gems to get back to 100. and then this becomes an optimization problem about, okay, how many gems do I save if I go from 100 to 120, etc. Then we talk about the engine. The engine basically speeds up your progress in this game, and so I think I've done the math on it. The guys, one of the guys has data mined this, so the max level for engine is 6. I'll show you what that does in terms of decreasing journey time. And like I said, this messes with the denominator. So then it improves your items per day metric significantly. This cargo one is tricky to interpret, right? So update your cargo hold to get bonus resources. This bonus does not influence regular rewards and the resources you obtain from the chest. So what I think that means is, again, like with durability and what happens when you go below 100, I think in terms of material, it only multiplies the amount that you get here. It doesn't, for example, multiply the amount of cargo that you get in these little boxes. And it also does not, more importantly, it says it does not increase the amount of regular rewards, which are these things, which is what you're really after at the end of a journey. So you don't get more of these tokens, you don't get more experience, and you certainly do not get more 5-star food or puppets, right? I think that's the important thing to note about cargo. If you're thinking about cargo, it does not improve those things, because it says here, this bonus does not influence regular rewards and the resources you obtain from resource chests, meaning I think it only impacts the amount of material that you get. So then the question is, okay, if it impacts the amount of material that I get, is it worth the extra bonus? And so when you go from cargo hold 1 to level 6, level 6 gives you basically, if you've maxed out cargo hold, you get 30% more stuff. So then you look at cargo and you think, well, 30% more of this stuff. Do I need more voidstone, monster bits, purple goo, green goo, and gems? You know, compared to, say, getting the regular rewards quicker, these things quicker. It depends on where you are in the game. For me, I'm going to pick speed over what you can get in the cargo hold every single day. And then the last thing is arsenal. Upgrade your arsenal to increase the HP, attack, and speed of your battleships. So upgrade attack, HP, and speed. And I think all that does is it upgrades your lineup. So for example, it's like a buff. It's like a tech guard buff to your lineup. So when people attack you, your lineup's gonna, and when you attack people, so when you defend and attack, you're gonna get these bonuses based on what you upgrade it to. So I think this for me is a last, or maybe a third tier upgrade, because I would upgrade in order of upgrade. If you ask me how to do it, I would go for speed first, and I'll show you the math behind it. Then I would do cargo. Then I would probably do arsenal over durability, simply because if you can upgrade your arsenal to the point where people attack and they're not successful because you got these attribute buffs, then your durability is not going to be impacted at all. So in terms of upgrade, if you're thinking about upgrade, I would do engine first, cargo, then arsenal, and then lastly I would do fleet armor. But let's talk about the engine upgrades, right? So the engine upgrades. So for the current mission that we're on, which is this one, where the rewards are, you get a 6-star dummy, 2,000 of those medals at the end, as well as 5,000 experience. And so it doesn't change regardless of the boiler level you're at. You're basically trying to see how much quicker upgrading the boiler is. So thank you to Smogot, who data mined, and the source is here if you want to check out his spreadsheet. It's quite complex, and I didn't follow all of it, but I was able to pull some of the base values from it. So basically, what Smogot worked out was, here's the distance for the non-light dart 6-star adventure journey. So it's 1,209, 600 miles or kilometers, depending on what unit of distance you want to use and where you come from. Doesn't actually matter. So with boiler level 1, the amount of distance you can travel every day without any boost is 86,400 units, all the way up to 120,900 if you get boiler to level 6. And so if you get the boiler to level 6, it basically shaves off 4 days off a 14-day journey. And so that's about, call it like 40, it's not 40%. It's about 30% of the journey that you shave off. And in terms of what does that do to, remember the metric here is regular rewards per day. So here what I've done is I've basically said 5-star. So here are the regular rewards you get. Again, it's 6 5-star heroes, or the equivalent, because it's one 6-star dummy. 6-star dummy is composed of basically 6 5-star heroes. And so 6 into 14 is 0.4. 2,000 into 14 is 143, and experience points is 357, right? 5,000 into 14. And so you can see, right, from day 1 to day 6, right, how that impacts the regular rewards per day, which is the key metric of adventure. How it increases. It basically increases. So from reducing your denominator from 14 days to 10 days, which is a decrease of 30%, it increases your regular rewards per day by 40%, right? That's how the math works. And that's far more than for example, the increase in cargo. The max level you can get for this is 30%. So that's why I think speed is better than cargo right now, right? The key it optimizes the key metric. The percentage boost in rewards that you get of 40% is much greater than maxing this out, which is, only going to give you an extra 30% in materials that you might not necessarily need. And that's why I think you should go for boiler first. If you max it out to level 6, without any speed boost, a 14-day journey becomes a 10-day journey, a 30% improvement. But the 30% improvement, when you take 30% away from the denominator, it makes the amount of rewards that you get per day 40% greater, right? So that's why you should do boiler level upgrades first. And that, in my opinion, is the order in which you should upgrade the tech associated with the ship. So then the second choice you have to make, which I talked about earlier on, is what kind of journey should you be doing when you think about adventures? Because there are going to be 4 kinds of adventures, right? Like I said, it's going to be a non-light dark 6-star adventure, a light dark 6-star adventure, a non-light dark 9-star adventure, and a light dark 9-star puppet adventure. And the rewards that you get, the regular rewards that you get, are going to be all different, right? So as well as the duration of the adventure. So the duration of a non-light dark 6-star adventure, I'm just going to give these numbers, right? A, B, C, D, because it's too much to say, right, in a mouthful. So for Journey A, it's going to be 14 days, and that's the one you're all on right now. For Journey B, where rather than getting a regular 6-star puppet, you're going to get a light dark 6-star puppet. It's twice the amount of time to get that different kind of 6-star puppet. Then for the Adventure Type C, you're going to get a 9-star puppet, which is 28 days. Sorry, 28. That means you're going to get 28 effectively 5-star heroes. And then for the light dark, again, 28 5-star light dark heroes. Where it doesn't make sense, and this is based on Smugot's data mine, which is why I think it's kind of broken. You look at the amount of days that it takes to get a light dark 9-star puppet compared to a non-light dark 9-star puppet. It's less for a 9-star light dark hero. Like, D is less than C, but B is greater than A. That doesn't make sense, right? Why would B be twice as much as A, but D less than C? It just doesn't make sense. So then if you look at, again, the key metric, how many regular rewards do I get per day of Journey? Everyone would just go for Journey D if it's available. Like, if it's commonly and freely available. If that is the case, if this 50.4, the duration of the journey, isn't wrong for Journey Type D, everyone would just do it because you get more 5 stars per day, you get way more medals per day, and you get way more experience per day. You just would never do any other journey. You would always go for the journey that gives you the light dark 9-star puppet based on the math alone. After that, you would then do basically the non-light dark 9-star puppet journey, and then after that you would do the standard journey that you're on now for 14 days, where you get the 6-star puppet at the end, non-light dark, and you wouldn't never ever do the light dark 6-star puppet journey. Why? Because you only get half as much 5-star heroes per day. The Journey B is the worst journey you could ever do, unless you really need light dark 6-star puppet light dark food, this journey is just completely rip-off. It's just so stupid. Conversely, the one when journey D, where you get the 9-star light dark puppet, that is phenomenal value. That's like the best journey out there. Everyone would do that over any of the other journeys. So if Smogot's data mine is correct, and if the devs haven't updated this value here, that's the order in which you should do the journeys and when you think about doing journeys. Because it doesn't matter whether it's, like 60 days or 14 days. Again, guys, the key metric you're trying to maximize is how many regular rewards, these things, you get per day of sailing. That's what you're trying to maximize at the end of the day, right? And you can improve the pace of which you can get things by improving your boiler level. But at the end of the day, you're fundamentally trying to maximize regular rewards per day. This material stuff, all this stuff, it actually scales with the number of days you sail, right? So there's no advantage in going quicker. Like, say, for example, doing 2 3-day journeys. I'm just making up the example numbers. There's no benefit in doing 2 3-day journeys versus 1 6-day journey in terms of these rewards that you can get in the cargo hold. Because every day where there's an active journey, you're just going to be accruing stuff in the cargo hold. You're going to be accruing stuff in the materials, in terms of materials, and that's going to be completely random because it's going to come from these completely randomized events. So as long as this ship is sailing and you're doing those events every time you got 10 of these little stamina things, your cargo hold is just going to fill, and fill. What is fixed though, and what you're trying to optimize, are these regular rewards. And that is the point of this video and this analysis. You're trying to maximize these regular rewards based on the number of days sailing that you have to do, assuming whatever upgrades you've made, right? The math comes out as do journey type D, then journey type C. So basically any of the 9-star puppet, any of the journeys where you get a 9-star puppet, then you do the one that you're currently on. And you never, ever do the 6-star light and dark puppet journey because the rewards, it's just not there. They need to fix either the duration or the amount of 5-star heroes that you get. Hopefully that all made sense, guys. Took me a while to think through this analysis, but I think that's how you optimize Celestial Island. So I think that's all the math I'll ever end up doing for Celestial Island. I hope you found that video useful. I know it was kind of long. I had to go through a lot of things, but that's where my thinking is at. I'm not sure if I'm going to make another Celestial Island video. Maybe I might want to do one at the end when I've completed my journey. But yeah, that's it. Hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching as always.